Last December, this small local newsagent was the scene of a savage, unprovoked knife assault. Purushottam Lal was working alone in the store at the time. 51-year-old Mr. Lal had to fend off around 40 blows from a knife during the frenzied attack. The attacker, later diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic after a lifetime of drug abuse, fled the scene, leaving Mr. Lal suffering from potentially lethal stab wounds for which he required emergency surgery to his chest, knee and hand. The attacker was later sentenced to be detained indefinitely, and Mr. Lal must live with the physical and mental scars for the rest of his life.
Obviously, Mr. Lal suffered some really shocking injuries from the attack. Suffered numerous stabbing to his arm, legs, shoulders. From that, he was incapacitated for 28 days in hospital. The charity then got involved via the local Newsagents Federation, brought it to us, came and visited Mr. Lal and noticed that he had difficulty walking. He was sleeping on a very hard sofa, so the charity have purchased a bed, which is just a fold-out bed to make it more comfortable, which is the main thing for him. And then we've looked through his, living standards and tried to help with money towards him. The incident that happened back in last December was quite shocking, but we've hopefully made your life a bit easier, and hopefully we've helped out and we can continue to help going forward, and that's what we're about as a charity.
The NewstrAid Benevolent Fund has cared for people from the UK news trade since 1839. Anyone who has worked in the UK news trade or is the immediate dependent of someone who has can get help if they fall on hard times. They could be suffering from illness, looking after a disabled relative, being made redundant, be the victim of crime, be trying to survive on a state pension, or just at their wits' end about how to cope. Help is at hand. All it takes is a phone call to NewstrAid.